let's get into it. So John Volk wrote this,
Yeah.
but you direct and star in it. Was
Yeah.
that always the plan for you to carry both of those roles? And how did you get attached to the project?
Sure. So John is actually my husband. We have a production company together called JMV Entertainment. And so we kind of do everything in-house. He writes a lot of the stuff. I direct and act in it. And I cast people that I've worked with in other projects. And then I have a DP that I've worked with on films that I've acted in. And now he's my DP for our company as well. So it's really like a family thing. We've been building this collective because I believe in kind of building horizontally rather than always trying to reach up to people that have accomplished more than you. I'm like, no, let's build together.
I
So
love that.
we've been building this coalition under our company. We have, we've repeated actors in films and used a lot of the same crew, and it's really become a family. So I'm trying to build kind of my own little studio because the way the industry is, you just got to do your own thing at these points and try to make your own opportunities.
Well, that's fantastic. So, you've done this obviously before. Is it a
Yeah.
challenge for you to balance both of those roles?
It is actually. I prefer, I've learned, especially because Au Gratin was very difficult because there were so many actors and it was the way that we shot it. It was very fast paced. It was shot more like a play. I realized I'm like, okay, if I do direct and act, I can't be in every single scene.
Right, right.
Because you want to focus on certain things, and I know there's certain things I missed that I would have liked to go back and fix because I'm a
Mhm.
perfectionist anyway. But I hats off to the people that always want to direct and act in things because it is two different skills, right?
Right,
Directing, you're looking at everything holistically, but acting, you have to focus on your character and responding to the characters in real time. So
right.
I enjoy doing both, but I don't know how much I'm gonna do both at the same time.
Okay. Well, you
Yeah.
brought a living legend in to play your mother, the
Yeah.
veteran actress Loretta Devine. I mean, she's
Yes.
just fantastic. She's everybody's TV auntie. How did she come to join the cast, and what kind of energy did she bring not only to the film but on set?
Sure. So back in 2022, Loretta and I actually did a feature film together that premiered at the Pan African Festival in Los Angeles, and then it had a limited release in theaters. And from then on, we've just been very, very close. We have the same birthday. She says I'm like her little her. She's been such a mentor to me. And so when I asked my husband to write a film, I was like, I really want to have a family film and see if Loretta would do it. I asked her. She said yes immediately. She's
Oh
like,
my
anything for you. She's like,
goodness.
anything for you, baby. You could hear it in her voice.
Oh,
Yeah, she's great. She's like an auntie to me, and we're very, very close. And so, having worked with her twice, acted alongside her, and directed her, I just always learn. And she's one of those people that's willing to give advice and guidance because she is a living legend,
she
and
is.
she has a career trajectory in terms of acting that I would love to emulate. And adding directing to it because I kind of love to be in in
Yeah.
control. I love to be the boss, but she's just amazing, and she just there aren't enough adjectives to describe how incredible she is to work with, how giving she is as an actor. Every take was different, which made it harder but more fun to play with as a director and as someone who's acting alongside her. So I'm really glad that she's in my orbit, and I feel very, very blessed to have been able to work with her. And I know we're going to work together again soon as well.
Oh, that's wonderful. I love
Yeah,
that. And what a
yeah.
nice mentor to have. I mean,
Yes,
that's
very much
fantastic.
so.
Okay, well, I find the name Au Gratin just interesting. It's a holiday family film. And it could have been called anything. It could have been
Yeah.
called Turkey. It could have been called Burnt Pig's Feet because the burnt pig's feet are featured in this.
Yes,
So
yeah.
why Au Gratin?
I think so. It's funny because I asked my husband that too, and it really was just because one, it does make you interested because first of all, people know what au gratin potatoes are, right? But nobody really makes them. Like, let's just be honest. I don't know anybody that makes au gratin potatoes, but they are kind
Nobody.
of a slightly complicated dish. But it's also like trying to elevate something basic like a potato to make it a little bit fancier, right? And as you follow the main character, Erica, that's kind of what she's always trying to do. She's always trying to like elevate herself and be seen and be noticed. And like she's the middle child, so she's like working really hard with basic ingredients, like so it's kind of like a play on her and her place in the family as well. So I really loved that contrast. And then that's the one dish that she made, and the mom ended up, liking it. And so there's a lot going on there, but that's really why. And I love it because it makes you like, what is this about? Oh, gratin.
Well,
Like,
you've already answered one of the questions I was going to ask you. It just seems to me like I just see her as poor Erica. I feel like
Yeah.
I didn't realize she was the middle child. I actually thought she was the youngest.
Yeah.
It just feels like people don't listen to her. She's holding on to the secret that she wants to tell you and your brother,
Yes.
but nobody has time to listen.
Nobody
She's
has
like,
time to
girl, why
listen. We
did you
all go.
burn? Yeah, why'd you burn the pig's feet? Why's the macaroni burger?
Yeah.
Make the au gratin. So, you know,
Yeah.
what does she bring to the table other than these au gratin potatoes that she's good at making?
It's interesting because you realize this dynamic that she has, and once you realize she is the middle child, that does kind of put things into perspective because middle children always feel kind of left out. The
Well,
oldest
I
is
didn't, but
Oh, but that is kind of like the archetype that middle children have,
yeah,
even
yeah,
in film specifically, right? Because like the older one is the person that you look to for the guidance. They're the one that kind of like helps raise the younger kids, and then the baby's the baby,
the
right?
baby's
And
the
so the middle
baby.
child is like, well, what's their role? What do they do? And then when you find out she's made mistakes, she burnt the mac and cheese when she was 12, and that's something that's been held against
Hanging
her
over her head.
for every holiday, so she is trying to not only prove to herself that she can do this, but prove to her family that she's capable of doing this as well, because she is the person, like you said, that's not listened to. She is the person that's ignored, and everybody has their own things that take priority over anything that she has to say. So,
Yeah, yeah, yeah. That's really interesting. I'm gonna have to go back and rewatch.
yeah, yeah,
Okay. Well, the film to me has all the ingredients of it's just perfect. It's messy. It's a memorable family story. We've got the sibling dynamics, the tension, the kitchen chaos, and all of that.
yeah.
And to me, there's like a little underlying current of grief because it seems like the
Mm,
patriarch. I don't know whether he passed away recently or
yeah.
whatever. Um, but there's a lot going on in 11 minutes.
Yes,
There's a
yes.
lot that you guys packed into 11 minutes. So
Yeah, yeah.
what did you most want to capture about the family dynamic in this film in that short amount of time?
Honestly, just the realistic aspect that like there's no family that's perfect. And
Mm,
when you show up for holidays, everybody is kind of carrying whatever they had been dealing with leading up to the holidays. I mean, you show up for your family, you could have just had a breakup. If you're in school, maybe you had a bad semester, maybe some, like you said, their father died, which they mention a couple of times in the film, which isn't a secret at all, but
right.
everyone's carrying all these different things. And then you have, my character is the mom of two kids, and you're dealing with that. So it's just showing that like everybody has kind of like their own struggle and their own things that are going on. And then when you come together in a family, like how does that all navigate? How do you put all of those things at a table
Yeah.
to be able to have just a meal together?
Yeah.
Just something as
Yeah.
simple as a meal. And I think that that's a very realistic aspect of this film, which eventually we do hope to turn into, a feature film and really kind of play more into that messiness of the family, dive deeper into the dynamic. What happened to the dad? How did the relationships end up like this? But
Right.
this is a good
Right.
little taste of kind of that family dynamic. And then also bringing in the strangers, bringing in my husband, bringing in the new love
The
interest. And it's
boyfriend.
like,
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
boyfriend, you know what I mean? And then it's like, oh gosh, now you're bringing him into this not into this crazy family mess, So those are all realistic aspects of things that I think are very relatable and that people have had to deal with, especially around the holidays, because that's when everything
Yeah.
comes up for families. Yeah.
Yeah, and Loretta Devine is the mom. Her delivery is just like perfect when she sees the brother's boyfriend. Who is
She's
this?
like, who is this in
Yeah,
my house?
yeah,
Yeah.
who is this?
Right.
What is going on
Yeah. I
here?
love it. I love it.
Well, I watched the film three times. I have to tell you
Oh,
that. And each time I picked up on something different because I was trying to focus on, you, the brother,
yeah.
the sister, just all the different layers. There's so many layers with it being such a short film. Was that intentional or was it just a happy accident?
Very intentional, is very
Hmm.
intentional. I think it is one of those short films that you should go back and watch multiple times when you're able to, because everybody has a different lane, but also you realize how much happens. Like at the 3 minute mark, the secret that Eric is keeping, you're like, oh, it's too late now already, but it's only been 3 minutes. And then you realize, for example, when the person who plays my husband is telling that story, and then you realize, when did you have time to tell him that story? Like, you know what I mean? It's those things like that. You go back, like
Yes.
the time didn't, there wasn't that much time. Like that was a significant story to
Right.
tell in just 3 minutes. And then you realize things about the kids and that, the daughter's just been
All of
over there
that.
in the back watching all of this happen and she don't care. And you're talking about the brother's relationship and now he has a new relationship. So there's just so much chaos. But I think that that's just what life is. There's so many
Yeah.
different layers to all of us. And I really love how we were able to capture that.
Well, now I have to go back, like I said, and watch it again. Um, so the movie has made the rounds at various film festivals. Tell me, what's the next stop and how can the public eventually see it?
Absolutely. So we just opened at Poppy Jasper Festival in Northern California, and then we're getting ready to do the Light Reel Festival, which is a BIPOC festival in Washington, D.C. And we're also doing the Wyoming International Film Festival. And our last stop so far, because we're still waiting on a lot of
Mhm.
acceptances, but this is what I'm really excited about, is the Martha's Vineyard African American Film Festival, which is an Oscar qualifying
Wow.
festival. So I'm really, really excited about that because, just the focus on Black excellence and Black filmmakers, and it'll be really great to meet other people and see their works. And I love just being at a space that's dedicated for Black storytelling, which is great.
That is amazing.
Yeah.
So eventually, will this be released somewhere for everyone to see it?
Yeah, we'll hopefully just probably just stream it on YouTube for people to watch and link and
That's
have a great
fine.
time watching. Our
Okay.
last film, Curtain Call, is also on YouTube right now. We did
Okay.
a year-long festival run with that as well, and several Oscar qualifying festivals. That was a very different vibe. If you
Okay.
watch Curtain Call, directed by me as well and from JMV
Okay.
Entertainment, our company, but it's that one's a very quiet and heartfelt film, and so I was like, I want to do something a little more fun and chaotic this next time.
Okay. Okay. I got that curtain call. I'm gonna have to check that
Yes.
one out too.
Yes, please
Okay, that
do.
sounds good. All right. Well, now let's get into your activism.
Yeah, sure.
All right. So you've built a voice, obviously, that extends beyond film. And I follow you on Substack. And you
Oh,
are
awesome.
very active, very engaged with, your subscribers. I mean, you keep us informed. You've also made appearances on CNN and ABC News Live, NPR. You've written for outlets. Here I have the Daily Beast and
Hmm.
Blavity, and this is huge for me. You were recognized by Wired as one of the influencers shaping the 2024 election. That's
Yeah.
huge.
Yeah.
That is
It was a
huge.
big honor. Yeah.
So, a lot of your work sits at the intersection of culture, justice, the truth, media, all of those
Yeah.
things. What responsibility do you think creators have now in a time like this where there's so much, you know, false news out there
Sure.
and, there's so much division? What
I,
responsibility do you have?
I think we have a big responsibility to stay authentic and be true because creators and people that have online influence, they're the ones that people are going to these days because there's been such a distrust in mainstream media.
Right.
And so I'm the type of person, I always say I'm going to show up with moral clarity, I'm going to show up with authenticity. If I get it wrong, I'm going to be humble enough to say that. And I think that people need to be able to say that because we have gotten into this I think the societal culture where it's more important to be first and get
Mhm.
likes than it is to be accurate, right? Everybody's trying to just get the likes, get the views, get the clickbait, and I think it's more important to be honest and show up with integrity, even if you get it wrong. It sucks when you get it wrong, and I've gotten it wrong
Me
before, but
too. I have.
when you show up and tell people that, I've had so many people say, "I so appreciate you walking back something that you said that you found out was wrong."
You're
And that
human.
made them trust me.
Yeah.
And then it made more people follow me in that sense. So showing up in that way, I think we have a big responsibility because the creator economy is one of the biggest economies right now that we have in this
Okay.
country because people are looking to creators and influencers for their news, for whatever's happening, and also to help them process in real time. That's
Yeah.
the thing that I really focus on with my Substack is like, okay, I may not have all the answers, but I'm going to walk through this, and this is how I'm processing it, and this is the moral clarity that I'm trying to bring to this. What do you think, right? I'm really
Right.
about the conversation. And so some people are breaking news people, some people are about breaking down every single thing, and I'm not really like that. I'm like, how are we talking about this from a human perspective? How are
Right.
these affecting us from a human perspective? And I think that that's also where my artistic and creative side comes in, because I love telling human stories and telling things that feel realistic. And that that pulls over into my activism as well. I'm always like, how is this affecting humanity? How is this affecting us as people? So yeah, I think we have a huge responsibility to show up in the right way and make sure that we're doing it with integrity.
And I love Substack. I love the vibe of Substack
Yeah.
too. And I don't have a lot of followers on there, but it doesn't matter because the few people that do get on board, that they really are there because they want to be there and
Yeah.
they're engaged. They'll comment, they'll give you encouragement. So tell everybody how they can find you on Substack because I'm telling you guys, it's a treat to follow her. She
Oh,
posts a lot of good. No, you do. You post a lot of good things there.
I really appreciate that. So you just malyndahale.substack.com, and my publication is called hashtag We Need to Talk because we need to talk about everything. And that's literally what I focus on. But it's always from a place, like I said, of moral clarity and kind of guiding people through that. I talk about everything that you just want to break down and process in real time. So thank you. I appreciate that.
And I love that because when I see that email that says we need to talk, okay, I need to look at that.
Yes, I love that. I love that.
Okay, so I got one final question for you.
All right.
When people look back on your career, what do you hope stands out the most? The art or your advocacy, or both?
I'm going to say both because I think that they go hand in hand. I mean, I want them to see me as an artist, a creative who they appreciate the values and the advocacy that I have. And I think that the artists that I look up to and the artists that I love also have very strong human rights stances,
Right.
and you can even see it in the projects that they do, and they're really big on philanthropy. That's what I want people to know, be like, oh yeah, she makes great films and she also cares about human beings. So I think both really work simultaneously for the legacy that I'm trying to build for myself, and I think they'll always be in tandem because I've always been an activist at heart, but creativity is a thing that's always been my passion and the gift
That's
that I've been
wonderful.
given. And so I just want to make sure that I'm working. I don't want to let either one of them suffer. They both play a part in everything that I do.
Well, that is a fantastic answer and the perfect way to wrap up this interview. Malynda Hale, it's been a pleasure. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. This is great.